Hi guys, Harry here, and happy Valentine's Day to all of you watching out there, whether you're in a relationship or whether you're not, whether you're single, and even if you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, just happy 14th of February to all of you watching out there. Now today I have a Doctor Who video for you, which is going over the top 5 Doctor Who ships. And if you don't know what a ship is, it is, or what shipping is, it's a relationship. Well, it's two fictional characters, like going into a relationship. Like people put them into relationships, based on what we've seen in like a TV show like Doctor Who, and this video is only going to go over what is seen in the TV show, so it's not going to go into Big Finish or other Doctor Who books. But before we get started with this video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and also comment down below. And let's get into the video. So, at number 5, we have the relationship, the ship between 13 and Yaz, called Phasmin. Obviously, this has been seen in the show as Yasmin, I think, is the longest running companion in Doctor Who history, at least the longest running companion in New Who. Before, it was Amy and Clara, who had 2.5 seasons respectively, both of them, whereas Yasmin has 13 series, has 3 series with the 13th Doctor, and obviously Yaz might go on to be a companion with the 14th Doctor, which means she would be the first companion to, at least in New Who, to to go on after their Doctor, but it's kind of boggy with that because Rose went on with the 9th Doctor, but 9 only had 1 series, and there's kind of a lot of controversy there. But obviously, this is a big thing. Yaz has been there for 3 series along with the 13th Doctor. She got introduced on the 13th Doctor's first episode, and of course there was a relationship there from the beginning. First of all, she was kind of more focused with a relationship was kind of being more pulled between Ryan and Yaz, but into the second series it kind of went more a different way, whereas 13 was kind of pulled into a relationship more with Yaz. Obviously, they've always tried to get a big grip on Yaz's story, especially as Ryan and Graham's relationship explained itself. Working up to the granddad moment and all that. And obviously his nan, Grace, obviously passing away. But Yaz has always been a bit more wobbly, as the Doctor would say, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. But it's still a big thing in, the 13th Doctor and Yaz being in a relationship, because I think the 13th Doctor is thinking of what happened between her and when it was the 9th and 10th Doctor, between her and Rose, and not wanting to, have the heartbreak of either losing Yaz or Yaz losing her. And I think that is a big thing, because the Doctor is just looking out for her companion, and even though in the Eve of Daleks I wasn't really in support of it, I think it is great that, because it's continuity, which Chibnall is not great at, tying in the past Doctors to this Doctor, which I think is great. So if a relationship goes somewhere, I'll be up for seeing it. And then at number 4, we have 9 with Rose and 10 with Rose. So the 9 Rose and 10 Rose ship. Obviously, this is the relationship between 9 and Rose. And from the start, Rose broke the mold for a companion, because they were kind of just one singular mold. You're in there, that's your character, really, for the companions. Not that there are not good ones. There are Ace, Jamie, Sarah Jane, Jo. There are wonderful, great characters, but they were only in really like one mold. And Rose broke the mold for that, became a spunky, down to earth, like kind of rebellious, but just like doing what she wanted, try to help the Doctor in any way she could, companion. And that has kind of been the mold for basically every companion going onwards. Obviously, there's been different ones, like obviously like Rory, Mickey, Dan, Graham, Ryan. Like they're obviously males, so obviously a bit different. And of course, different ones like Bill, like being like lesbian, and Yaz like being bi, but that's just nitpicking details. So there are a lot of people who either love this ship or hate this ship, and I can see why from both directions. Let's start off with why people hate it. People hate this ship because they don't want to see the Doctor in a relationship, especially with a human, and I can see that, and it kind of set a snowball with a lot of the companions wanting to be with the Doctor, like Martha, or even Amy and Clara, like wanting to be with the Doctor, even kind of setting up Yaz, but Yaz and 13's relationship is obviously a lot more deeper than the others I just mentioned, apart from Rose and the Doctor. But you can see why people hate it, because it's just setting up things where the Doctor is just being with a companion and thinking, oh, they want to be with me, I don't want to hurt that, and being a bit silly. But I can see why people love it, because for a lot of people, Rose is either like the top of the list companion or a bottom of the list companion, and if they're at the top of the list, it can see why this relationship got started, because obviously Rose was the first companion of the new Who series, and it is mentioned time again that she kind of saved the Doctor, and it is seen that 9 obviously first is off, like set off by her, but at the end of the first episode sees that he wants her to travel with him, so she can save him even more. And it's not just him being selfish, it's showing her the wonders of the universe as well, showing a whole new set of generation, like my generation, and because obviously I wasn't alive before in the classic era, so I think the first episode I saw was Rose. So it's seen that the Doctor, the Ninth Doctor and Rose get along really well together, and the Ninth Doctor even kisses Rose at the end of Parting of the Ways. Yes, it is to save her, but I'm sure he could have found a different way to siphon the energy off her without kissing her. So obviously he liked her. And you can see he's kind of tearing himself up, knowing that this face won't see Rose again, or Rose won't see that face again. And things only got more into ship territory when the 10th Doctor turned up. Obviously, the 10th Doctor's probably the most handsome Doctor, probably people would say, being obviously making Rose like it even more, and the dashing, heroic, godly type Doctor. And you see in the first episode, New Earth, not the Christmas Invasion one, that even though Rose kisses the Doctor, but it's Cassandra, but the Doctor, he likes it. He's like, yeah, still got it. So you can see that they like each other even from the offset. The romance built with the 9th Doctor hasn't gone to waste with the 10th Doctor, and you can see that there's love between those two. And when they get torn apart in Doomsday, it's sad. It's genuinely the actors do a great job of it tearing them up inside. And also the 10th Doctor again does another great example of tearing himself up inside. David Tennant does a great job of conveying that when he gives Rose his clone, and Rose decides to be with the clone. And it's a great job David Tennant does, again, just saying it, of him tearing himself up inside, because Rose is now in a relationship with himself, but he doesn't get to experience it because it's a clone. So it's just I think it's a great relationship, a great ship. At number 3, we have the only classic Doctor Who ship on this list, which is between the 8th Doctor and Grace. And really, this is what started the companion-Doctor relationship, the ship dynamic, because obviously 8th Doctor is before 9th and 10th, and the 8th Doctor and Grace kiss each other in front of the fireworks, like in New Year, and it's romantic. And even though it's one episode, and Grace declined the 8th Doctor when he went away at the end of the TV movie, the writer, I think, confirmed that if it had been a reboot, like the TV movie had done well and it had been an American reboot, that Grace would have been the 8th Doctor's companion, and maybe they would have had a real relationship. Obviously, because the TV movie failed, we'll never know. But that was the first time, I think, that the 8th Doctor kissed his companion. At least it definitely was romantically. And, well, it kind of set the way for every other ship after it. Like, definitely the companionships. Because the War Doctor asks the 11th Doctor, does this happen a lot in the future? And then the 11th Doctor goes, it does start to happen. But really, for the War Doctor, it's already started to happen. He kissed Grace, and it might have been even a proper relationship in the TARDIS if the TV movie had done well. But if it had, we wouldn't have had these ships that I have just mentioned, and I'm going on to mention. So into number 2, we have 10, 11, 12, with River Song, which is also known as the Byzantium ship, the Yowza ship, and the Twiver ship. Obviously, Byzantium is where the 10th Doctor first met River for the first time. She knew everything about him, he knew nothing about her, but it's shown that even then they have a stronger relationship, because the 10th Doctor, River says to the 10th Doctor, I know your name, and tells him his name, and so you said my name. I've never told anyone that before, which means River is definitely a big character for the Doctor. And again, David Tennant does a great job being heartbroken when River dies, because he wants to get to know her more, but obviously because they meet each other backwards, she dies the first time he meets her. And then it gets confusing, because going into the 11th Doctor, the Yowza ship, obviously there are big things, like River tries to kill him, they get married, the relationship, because River is the 11th Doctor's first companion's child, Amy and Rory's child, so it's kind of weird that River is older than them, but younger than the Doctor, but older than her parents. It's weird, but they get married, and that's a big thing, because obviously they've never got, we didn't even know the Time Lords could get married before this, but it's shown that 11 wants to kind of spend, it's to save the world, but I feel like he could have done a different version. He gets married to save the world with, gets married to River, and that is a big thing. And then finally we have Twiver, which is the 12th Doctor and River, and they only get to meet each other once in the TV show, but it's shown that legend says that the Doctor and River will spend one night together on Darillium. The Doctor always cancelled because he doesn't like endings, However, the 12th Doctor, when they crash land in it, like, it's finally time. And they spend one night in front of the Singing Towers of Darillium. And River asks, how long does a night last on Darillium? And the Doctor then comes clean and says 24 years. So the Doctor spent 24 years with River. It's mentioned by both the Doctor and Nardole that they spent 24 years together, 24 years together, which is the longest relationship the Doctor has ever had, the longest relationship where the Doctor has stayed in one place, because he was so content with River, it seems. And even just before the credit, it goes, they lived happily ever after, which it was a proper marriage relationship. And I just think that's, it's kind of heartwarming and a bit heartbreaking as well. Now, number one, you think, what can beat that relationship then, after I've just gone over how well they did it with the Doctor and River? And that is the Doctor's one constant companion, the TARDIS. Now, I know it's not a normal, traditional, romantic Valentine's relationship, but I think that the Doctor's best ship, the best Doctor Who ship, is between the Doctor and the TARDIS. I mean, it's shown that I think the biggest thing we've gotten in recent years is 12 and the TARDIS, 12 just before he regenerates, taking in the TARDIS's input into why he should regenerate, and also having a chat with him. I think the 10th and the 11th have said, oh girl or oh dear, and being really caring and sensitive with the TARDIS, and the TARDIS not being afraid to put him in one place or say something to him. And I think it is really great. We also see between 11th and Idris in The Doctor's Wife that the TARDIS is kind of the Doctor's wife. Is name of it, the episode. But I think it is great that the Doctor and the TARDIS have such a deep, profound relationship, and I don't think we'd be able to really understand it, because it's not a convenient, romantic relationship or friendship relationship. It's just they are there for one another, and they will never let the other one down. But that is my list for the top 5 Doctor Who ships in, obviously, Doctor Who. Let me know down below in the comments down below if you think there should be in a different order the ships, or whether you think I have missed a ship out. But also don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and I will see you in the next one.